You know, I feel like I would have appreciated this movie way more if it wasn't tied into the game. As a standalone horror film, it's kind of a fun movie, but as a video game adaptation, it kind of sucks. So Until Dawn is a brand new video game film adaptation of the beloved PlayStation exclusive Until Dawn. The film is directed by David F. Sandberg and it stars Ella Rubin, Michael Cimino, and Peter Stormare. 1 year after her sister disappeared, Clover and her friends head to the remote valley where she vanished to search for answers. Exploring an abandoned visitor center, they soon encounter a masked killer who murders them one by one. However, when they mysteriously wake up at the beginning of the same night, they're forced to relive the terror over and over again. So like I said earlier, Until Dawn is actually a fun movie, until you remember that it's tied into the game. I understand why they called it Until Dawn, because you want to reach a more wider audience to an extent, or at least reel in the people that are already familiar with the lore. Despite my issues with this adaptation, there are a few things that I actually do appreciate. Any movie that uses practical effects, you've won my heart. I was surprised by the amount of practicality used in this film. The kills are practical, the Wendigos are practical, there is not a lot of CGI used in this movie, except for this scene of course. But the use of the practical effects makes the film way more enjoyable and way more visceral. The best use of the practical effects were the exploding bodies. I'm not gonna lie, that first body explosion threw me off completely. It happens so sudden that I don't think anyone is prepared for it. And it looked gnarly, like the type of shit you would see in The Boys. I actually really admired the set pieces in this film. I will argue the set pieces to an extent do remind me of the Until Dawn world, from the gas station to the visitor center to even the fallen debris underground. All of this reminded me so much of Until Dawn, so I will give the film its props on that. Two of my favorite set pieces were the underground destruction level and of course Dr. Hill's office. And I won't lie, this movie has some pretty good pacing. The movie is roughly 100 minutes long, so they have to take full advantage of that runtime, and in my opinion, they wasted no time and did a pretty good job with the usage. I'm not sure if a longer runtime would have benefited this film, but regardless, it worked for me. And of course, Peter Stormare reprising his role as Dr. Hill is forever a treat. But then they do something with Dr. Hill that really makes you question the lore of Until Dawn. The film introduces quite literally canon-breaking lore to the game. Like, what do you mean Dr. Hill isn't a hallucination of Josh's memory, but rather an entity that can't die? I don't know how I feel about that. But it's not even just Dr. Hill. The entire concept of the game is now being put into question. The setting of the game is now put into jeopardy. The structure of the game story and the Wendigos are now put into question. I won't get into spoilers, but y'all, like... why did this have to be tied into the game? But enough about the game, let's go back into the movie. The characters in this film are just... okay. To me, they kind of play the stereotypical characters you would see in a horror film. The final girl, the somewhat jock, the timid nerdy guy. Granted, Until Dawn had those stereotype characters, yes, but at least they grew as people. At least throughout the game, they grew to become more likable. At least you bought into their friendship and their relationships. In the movie, I don't really buy their friendships. I really wish the film had highlighted how strong their friendship truly is. I guess you could argue the final girl was the only character that I kind of cared for the most. But even then, I wish the film had given her way more substance. This whole trope of characters in horror movies making illogical decisions is starting to get old. I know this stuff is traditional in horror films, but at what point does common sense kick in? What do you mean, let's split up? What do you mean, let's go check out the danger? Like, no. And I couldn't help but to feel that way about the characters in this movie. Like, some of these characters have no survival instinct whatsoever. So the water is essentially the reason for why bodies are exploding. The film never explains why that is the case, it just happens. I mean, it looked cool, but why did it happen? And I won't lie, the concept of this film is pretty damn cool. You're trapped in a secluded location. The only way out is to survive the night. But after every time you die, a new horror monster / entity is after you. For example, on night 1, we had a masked serial killer. On night 2, we had demonic possession / paranormal activity. And then like what, maybe night 13 you had Wendigos? Imagine every night is a new threat, and you don't know what it is until you see it. Me personally, if it's Walking Dead zombies, oh, I'm surviving the night. Even though the film gave us a brief montage, I would love to know what the other horror threats were. Like, were they vampires, wolfmen, swamp men? Like, who were the others? But in the end, y'all, this film had me feeling conflicted. There are things that I really do like, and there are things that I really don't like. If you have never played the game, you might like this movie a bit more. But I won't lie, that one Wendigo jump scare got me pretty good. So, plugging Until Dawn. Into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pass zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Until Dawn. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? How do you feel about this movie breaking the game lore? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.